I know I'm not alone when I say that weed 15 years ago was maybe better than anything available at your local dispensary. Even in California. I'll stretch it all the way out. I'm in Arizona. I'll say this goes as far as California. Because even when I jump on YouTube and I look into, some of the weed channels who dive into conspiracy theories regarding the industry, found some info. There's all the the different brands of THCA. Yeah. There's all the different types. There's THC, THCA, THC. I forget how the rest of the THC goes, but then there's the CBD as well. But yeah, I think all the legal bud online was THC-A, something along those lines. So then there's different measurements for each one of those types when you go to look at the sticker on your purchase from a dispensary. All right, so you're not going to get the best stuff at the dispensary. I've heard from these channels that the good outdoor, you know, Mendocino County, the old, what's the name of the triangle? All the weed from the famous triangle in California. It's yeah. There's a bunch of names for that little. I'd have to look at that again. But that is it makes sense because there's all the best wine in the world supposedly comes from California. And it's just because of the weather conditions and the way you can grow the vine outdoor, right? So it only makes sense that marijuana, maybe a little bit further north would do its best in California, right? So I've heard that all of that outdoor, all the best outdoor, up to 95 to, they're saying, I've heard all of it is sold before anything goes out to stores. So whatever's going on in the stores I've heard is 100% homegrown or indoor. There we go. So to prove that, I mean, I used to get bulk amounts, right? The max legal limit, usually one or two types, so big bags, right? And you didn't used to need a microscope of any kind in order to visually inspect your product. What would it would be very easy. I mean, if you wanted, you could crack a nug open and look and get that. Usually you did that for the smell. But now, when you go to the dispensary, even when you buy that top shelf, that's barely when it starts to be easy to just look at on the outside without cracking it open at all. And then maybe you're starting to get some stank to it. But it used to be super stanky, super sticky, and very visual, easily inspected. But this stuff, you almost, anything from any store, you almost need a microscope of some type or magnifying glass. You need some type of magnification in order to get a good look at your herb. What's the point in covering this topic is just, you need to know your source. And it sucks that we're at the point where the weed is not as good and you're trying to get to know the source of the not good weed. But if you maybe you find the best weed along that journey, right? So that's the only way to do this is try and find that good stuff. And I'm telling you, it's not as good. It's gate kept. They're locking it out. There's enough money there. They're buying it out. It's gone, baby. We're getting the bunk. Some of it's decent. I have to smoke dabs in order to do myself any good. Otherwise, I'd be smoking essentially all day. But I can keep that activity, quick, clean, and easy to disguise. Because if I'm relaxing, I'll definitely burn a blunt. But it's hard to hard to make the stop, because you kind of got to stop everything you're doing and make sure it's good to be as stinky as you're about to be. You're about to burn down a blunt, man. You're gonna be holding it down, that's for sure. So, anyways, if you want that good, you gotta stay with your ear to the ground, looking for it. You gotta support the good companies. Try and figure out a way to find the top. Yeah, 2 on. Ow! That's the